What did I tell you guys? What did I tell you? Yep, in the last reaction video that came out earlier, and yep, with what the next Nostalgia Critic video it was that I was gonna react to next, and here I am now, and you're now watching me about to react to this. Yes. The Nostalgia Critic, now having done a review on Toy Story 2. Yes. And as I also said in the last reaction to something Nostalgia Critic, this one, his review of Toy Story 2, being the last one for the month of February. So, yeah. And I know what's coming next, now that this has come out, and which I also talked about. If you saw my reaction earlier to his review of Muppet Treasure Island, then you know. But, yeah. Alright, so, yeah, Toy Story 2 itself. Well, I think I've made this very clear. Even when I did my own review of Toy Story 2, I absolutely love Toy Story 2. It is, without a doubt, my favorite Toy Story film in the Toy Story franchise. Yeah, it's between that and Toy Story 3. And, with what I've had to say about Toy Story, like when I've done my review on it, and even when I did my reaction to Doug's review of the first Toy Story film as the Nostalgia Critic, I have no disrespect to the original Toy Story, of course, the first one, the one that started it all, that made animation history. But, I'm just really more into the sequels. Again, most prominently 2 and 3. Yeah. And I don't want to sound like, and I know I've probably made this very clear, I don't want to sound like what Doug had said on, say, the first Shrek film. You know what I mean? Just yeah. Anyways. But Toy Story 2, the memories I have of watching Toy Story 2, when I was a toddler, and, say, when it came out later on Blu-ray, because, yeah, remember that time when, I think it was around say, 2009, when the first 2 Toy Story films at that time, they were both coming out on Blu-ray, and my family and I, we got those on Blu-ray, and also this was in preparation for the third Toy Story film, yeah, because with them being re-released on Blu-ray for the first time, and then when it came to Toy Stories 1 and 2 being re-shown in theaters, this time 3D. Yeah, and that was especially, excuse me, that was especially at that time, the early days of, it was not every day that, classic films or that had already been in theaters, coming back to theaters and such. You know what I'm saying? Nowadays, it's a big thing. And not that I'm complaining. None of us are. Just yeah. But, hey, for classic films to be re-shown in theaters is such a delight, a joy, just to experience them on the big screen at movie theaters, But anyways, so, yeah. So Toy Story 2, just everything that Toy Story 2 has to offer with its powerful storytelling, the fact that this was the first ever computer-animated film that is a sequel, the first ever computer-animated sequel, I should say, and all the above. Yeah, just everything about it is fantastic. And let's not forget, the memorable new characters that stepped in Toy Story 2, this guy, for example, yep, and Woody's Roundup, and the Barbies, Mrs. Potato Head, Wheezy, the list goes on, just yeah, it's amazing. And not to mention that Toy Story 2 had a huge impact on the Pixar crew, because it defied whom they are, and with what Ed Catmull specifically said in the Pixar Story documentary, if you know what I'm talking about, yeah. And, yeah, it was, between, say, A Bug's Life and Toy Story 2 that made them go big and, yeah, really expand. And, well, after doing Toy Story 2, just 1 year later, they would then move from, Point Richmond to California. And, yep, because where they would end up next, their own paradise, their own big-time one-building studio. Oh, yeah, definitely. But, yeah. And I'm sure as though, for the Nostalgia Critic's review of Toy Story 2, well, nothing more but a lot of positive things. But if there's going to be a few things that, well, not that I'm complaining or anything like that, it's understandable, but just yeah. But I just know overall that he'll have a lot of appreciation and positive stuff to say about Toy Story 2 in his review. So I'm looking forward to this. And by the way, let me quickly see what some of the comments say. And by the way, because as I'm recording this, well, if you saw the last reaction video, I recorded that one day before this came out, so here I am as of today, here as of this recording today, with this video already having come out. Yep, it came out not long ago, so almost up to 1 hour ago as I recorded this, but alright. So, what is your favorite Pixar sequel? Well, this being one of them, yeah. Yeah, a lot of positive, good comments here, so... Oh boy. I can't wait to see what he's gonna have to say about the I am your father thing. Yeah, because one comment, like, the time of, like, when that happens, so... Alright. And I have no doubt there's gonna be a lot of funny jokes in this, so this ought to be a lot of fun. But, yeah, so this is gonna be really exciting, again, to check out what all Doug, as the Nostalgia Critic, has to say about Toy Story 2. So, with all that being said, have to check something. Alright, I think we should be good. The brightness is up and the volume's good. Alright, we're ready. So here we go. Starting this Nostalgia Critic video, his review of Toy Story 2 in 3, 2, 1, and beyond.
This episode brought to you by ZocDoc. Find and instantly book a doctor you love today. Got a lot of cons coming up.
New sponsor, I presume?
By your neck of the woods.
Yeah.
Cedar Falls Comic-Con in Cedar Falls, March 7th through 8th. Game On Expo in Arizona, March 13th to the 15th. C2E2 in Chicago.
Said this before, it would be so great to attend to any convention to meet Nostalgia Critic. You know, Doug Walker and the Nostalgia Critic crew from Channel Awesome.
Illinois, April 18th to the 19th. Finally, Midwest Gaming Classic in Wisconsin, April 24th to the 26th. Hope to see you there.
Love to sometime. Yep. By the way, I think it's nice that, don't you think, like, you need to have new sponsors this time? Here we go.
Hello, I'm the Nostalgia Critic. I remember it so you don't have to. We've heard it a million times before. Studios, especially Disney, are relying too much on remakes and sequels. Hell, Pixar years ago said they didn't want to do sequels. And look at them now. What an absolute betrayal. So I wanted to look at the first sequel they ever did where everything went downhill. Their third film.
Not exactly, didn't go downhill, just, you know.
Yeah, it's pretty funny to think Pixar was so gung-ho about not doing sequels when their first one was only after one film that tried a different idea. Released in 1999, Toy Story 2 came on the heels of A Bug's Life, which did well, but not Toy Story well. So there was some concern about whether or not Pixar was a one-masterpiece wonder. But luckily, a lot of care was taken to not just retell the same story, or, in the few moments they do it in a clever way. And this resulted in my personal favorite of these films. A lot of people say 3 is their favorite, and it's good, it's just... I'm sorry, seems like they're just so stupid. Toy Story 2 found the perfect mix of pushing the boundaries of the art form, keeping the comedic writing on point, and evolving the story and characters. It's a film that still holds a lot of relevance for many people and felt less like a cash grab and more like a passionate story these filmmakers wanted to tell because, well, it was just a good story to tell. I still love it all these years later. I'm gonna take a closer look at why.
Good.
So, before we get to the inevitable Toy Story 23, let's take a look at how they used to make sequels feel more legit. Let's take a look at Toy Story 2. The film begins with, well, let's just say what Lightyear should have been. Flying through the galaxy, trying to destroy the evil Emperor Zurg. Yeah, I know everybody knows that video where somebody told another person that Toy Story 3 ended with all of them getting burned. But be a real asshole and show this to a 5-year-old edited like...
And you gotta cut to the end credits, right? There you go.
Come on, gather round. That'll make sure you never get asked to babysit again. This is all revealed to be a video game being played by our heroes from the previous movie. However, Woody, played again by Tom Hanks, is nervous because he can't find his hat before Andy takes him to cowboy camp.
In just a few hours, you'll be sitting around a campfire with Andy making delicious hot schmoes.
Schmoes and hoes everywhere. Bo tells Woody to look under his boot to see Andy's name written on it.
The boy who wrote that would take you to camp with or without your hat.
I, on the other hand, will be sold in between movies, but given a consolation film. This was all planned ahead.
Of course.
Oh, don't put a buzz.
These kind of jokes that he's doing.
She was going more for his nose in a way that kind of looks like... How did that not become a meme?
I mean, it's just how tall he is,
They
and
find his hat as
you
it looks like it
know.
was taken by the family.
and
dog.
she's got to look at him in the eyes.
Buster, all
Right.
right.
Hey, I have a cat named Buster.
Ah, what a
Well,
coincidence.
everything I have to say is funny. Why start now?
Hey, Woody, ready to go
That's
to
true.
Cowboy Camp? The unstoppable duo of Woody and Buzz Lightyear.
Andy accidentally breaks his Woody from handling it too rough. It's that age. So he decides not to take him to camp, and he's put on the shelf with other forgotten toys.
Andy, what happened? Woody's been shelved.
And that's where they go. How the hell is the Super Nintendo still out? Oh, right, because it's the greatest game system ever made. Fight me!
Hey, Woody, did you miss me? I forgot.
Then comes the nightmare.
You're broken.
Woody has a dream about Andy abandoning him, which is impressively terrifying.
Yes. And it was originally written for the first Toy Story.
It's like if Satan directed a little Live Pets commercial. And he finds another shelf toy named Wheezy.
Thought Mom took you to get your squeaker fixed months ago. Andy was so upset.
Nah, she just told him that to calm him down.
For a while, she threw me in a bag with her toys that don't work anymore. I didn't like the stories they had.
Oh, God.
Andy's mom grabs Wheezy for a yard sale. I love when I first saw this movie, my girlfriend at the time literally said, bitch. But Woody ends up saving him. Woody falls off, though, and gets picked up by a guy named Al,
He lived in a sewer with his hamster bound.
who's played by Wayne Knight.
I'll give you $50 for it. $50 ain't bad.
Have you been on eBay?
Yeah, I mean, some of those.
Al steals Woody
Woody
as Buzz tries to
toys.
save him, but fails.
Why would someone steal Woody?
Actually, the real question is, how has someone not tried to steal Woody in the other films? For when Woody is brought to Al's office, he finds he's a rare collectible worth tons of money, especially when part of a complete set called the Roundup Gang. And this includes
Yep.
Jesse, played by Joe Cusack, Stinky Pete, played by Kelsey Grammer, and Bullseye, played by an uncredited George C. Scott.
I'm officially freaked out now.
Oh, we've
No, he's
waited
like a puppy
countless years for this day.
The new characters in this are great additions. Not just the
Yes.
Roundup Gang, but Mrs. Potato Head, Barbie, and Emperor Zurg, who somehow looks exactly like how everybody imagined somebody named Emperor Zurg would look.
Why, you don't
Oh.
know who you are, do
Well, the
you?
fact that
He isn't just a
Darth
collectible,
Vader
though.
had
He's also a popular
inspired
TV show that ran in
Zurg.
the 50s, with a damn catchy earworm theme song.
Yep, by the Riders in the Sky.
It's like Randy Newman said, what if Small World was one of my songs and Three Amigos? Here, toys figure out Al is from Al's Toy Barn, as they click through channels all owned by Pixar's In-Joke Network, and they find
Yep.
where he's located.
This is for
Their
Woody.
shorts and the commercials they did animation for.
All right, but I don't think it'll mean the same coming for me.
No, I don't know. Buzz and Woody does kind of sound like a gay porno. In fact, if you take Buzz's chin and turn it upside down, it kind of looks... I'm getting off topic.
We'll be back before
Yeah.
Andy gets home.
Shut up.
Don't talk to any toy you don't know.
I do wish Mrs. Potato Head went with them, as they just introduced her, yet they don't really use her that much. However,
Same goes for
the
Wheezy.
characters do get a lot of good moments.
The show was canceled.
Why cancel it?
2 words.
But thanks to Toy Story 3, we would get
Once
more
the
of her.
astronauts went up,
Mr.
children
Potato
only
Head.
wanted to play with space toys.
Everything in this country changed when they let kids of different colors go to the same school.
Which, I mean, that was true. Yeah.
I'm a southerner from the 50s.
I mean, look at all this stuff.
Didn't you know? Why, you're valuable property.
Trust me, Disney knows. As a side note, I have to say they do a good job making Woody's Roundup feel like a real show. All these products
Yeah.
look like they would exist in real life.
Hey, howdy, hey, that's me. I'm on a yo-yo. Hey, nice teeth.
And see, this is why Pixar is so good with stuff like this.
But are you a body pillow? Is he? Okay, I'm making way too many sex jokes in this one. Things get complicated.
Now you have your own
Finds
plush
being sold to a
dog.
museum
Did
in
you know
Japan,
that?
But they're only interested if Woody is included.
Can't go. I can't do storage again. I just can't.
Jesse, what's the matter? What's wrong with her?
We've been in storage for a long time, waiting for you.
You should have heard what she hallucinated while she was in there. I like they almost trick
Was
Woody
that from
into
the film
thinking he's in an
Toys?
abusive relationship.
Why were you in a yard sale?
I was trying to save another toy.
Was
when-
it because you're damaged? Hmm?
Did this Andy break you?
Yeah, but no, it was an accident.
He's not himself when he's had a few Kool-Aid jammers, okay? That's almost a moot point, though, as Woody gets damaged even further.
Oh, it's just a popped seam.
Easily repaired.
You should consider yourself lucky.
Lucky?
Are you shrink-wrapped?
I am missing my
Film
arm!
Colton, I still don't know how they ended up where they did.
Huh.
Later that night, Woody tries to get his arm back.
When was that a
As
thing?
bad as people look in these movies, once in a while there is a convincing shot. Like, I know Wayne Knight plays this character, but I swear I'm looking at a drunk Jason Alexander right now. However, the
Never
TV is
thought of
drunk
that.
waking him up, and Woody thinks Jesse did it.
You think I did that?
Well, if the boot fits.
Say that again.
I think that's the same look Chucky gets when he's about to kill someone. They have a little fight, but Pete says there's no point in arguing. As the next day, Pixar in-joke number 20 pops up to fix Woody's arm.
So, how long is this gonna take?
You can't rush art.
I always love
If any young kids had seen Jerry's Game, either before or after this, you know.
Going on.
Oh yeah,
The
that
toys
was a
to
big thing
Al's barn,
too.
injuring God knows how many civilians. The toys explore the shop.
The name being
Make
covered
it
with
so you
paint.
can't defeat Zurg unless you buy this book. It's extortion.
Hey, I played the game. I can vouch that's true.
Yes, you did.
Across an aisle of Barbies, played by Jodie Benson.
Please keep your hands, arms, and accessories inside the car and no flash photography.
Would you like to take down the patriarchy and watch Oppenheimer immediately after?
What the hell random fan base do you attract?
Am I really that fat?
I talked about the film repeating some of the same beats, but doing so in a clever way. Buzz waking up
Yeah.
another Buzz doll having the same fantasy is a perfect example.
All space
Now-
rangers are
now
to
Buzz
be
gets a
in
taste of his own
hyperspeed
medicine,
until
like-
awakened by authorized personnel.
Like what he was before.
What is it about this toy brand that results in instant delirium? In most movies, this would be just one joke, but the others confuse the new Buzz for the original, leading to a lot of great comedy.
I know how to defeat Zurg.
You do?
Where'd you get the cool belt, Buzz?
Well, Slotted Pig, they're standard issue.
I'm gonna
Slotted
randomly say
pig.
that whenever somebody asks where I got something. Hey, where'd you get that new phone? Well, Slotted Pig, it's standard issue.
Sponsor time? Yeah.
4 p.m. The
Alright, so commercial break. Fast forward. Come on. Zocta. I think I said that right. New sponsor. Yeah, and like I said earlier, I think it's about time, like, well, you know, it depends, and with what they do with the charity shoutouts and all that, like, sponsor stuff, but, you know, if they're, like, you know, if they have a new sponsor that comes in, but sometimes, like, most of the time, they'll still have, like, some of the other sponsors they've had before, like, you know, ExpressVPN or HelloFresh, or DoorDash, all that stuff, yeah. But yeah, once in a while, it's nice to see, occasionally, to see new sponsors. All right, so we're up to 12 minutes and 24 seconds in, and because I fast forward skipped the sponsor, and there's only 10 minutes left. So, with everything that Doug has said, so yeah, timeout, because, yeah, well, so far up to 12 minutes, we're a really good review, a really good positive review to come from Doug as the Nostalgia Critic, all about Toy Story 2. Yeah, some of the things that he pointed out, even with making jokes on it, you know, and some of the stuff that he pointed out, yeah, makes a good point and such, and also, of course, in a humorous way, need I say. And yeah, because, like, according to Doug, a few things he pointed out, like, when experiencing the movie himself, and his girlfriend at the time, like, calling Mrs. Davis bitch and all that. Nah, I don't think so. I wouldn't think that, would you? Just, yeah. And also, like, yeah, I already made a comment about this, and, you know, again, as much as I hate talking over Doug sometimes, but, you know, sometimes he can't resist, right? But that comment he made about, like, we don't get that much of, like, say, Mrs. Potato Head, the same goes for Wheezy. Yeah, but, I mean, especially since Wheezy was only in Toy Story 2. We got a little snippet of him in Toy Story 3, and flashback and such, you know? That montage of home recordings of Andy, still a kid. Yeah, but that was it. But Mrs. Potato Head, well, when it came to Toy Story 3, she really expanded, that's for sure. Especially, she had one big thing going on throughout the film. She lost one eye. Of course, she eventually got it, so yeah. Yeah, it's great to see, like, with how much we got of Estelle Harris voicing Mrs. Potato Head, the character herself, like, yeah, I mean, you know, Pixar found a way to have Mrs. Potato Head be really enjoyable with how much we got of her in Toy Story 2, but when it came to the third film, yeah, where we got to see more of her. I mean, you know, and I think it's obvious because when it came to Toy Story 3, they had to be careful on, okay, obviously, some of the big major characters, like, still being there, and when Andy grew up, and, okay, most of the toys were sold off, but, yeah. But which ones could remain and stay? Well, the ones that are still there in Toy Story 3 are the obvious. And it's great to see that, yeah, Mrs. Potato Head still being there, because, yeah, by that point in Toy Story 2, when Mr. Potato Head got Mrs. Potato Head, yeah, definitely. And also, in addition, like, we had those 3 LGMs, the little green men, because... Even though, I mean, they were a new addition to Andy's toys in Toy Story 2, but, yeah, so them as well. And besides, everybody loves the LGMs, and, you know, one on my t-shirt right there, so, yeah. But, yeah, I mean, so, and also, like, if Bo Peep, is another biggie, but with her absence in Toy Story 3, yeah, because with what would go on in Toy Story 3, there's no way she would have survived it. I mean, that's what they felt at the time, but when it came to Toy Story 4, yeah, so, anyways. But, anything else to say? Well, yeah, and also, another thing is, like, yeah, like, the comment I also made, like, and with what Doug said, like, you know, Buzz experiencing a diluted Buzz, just like how he was, so yeah, he's getting his own taste of medicine, like, now he knows what Woody went through and all that, and the comment that Buzz made, tell me I wasn't this deluded, like, yeah, you were, Buzz, you for sure were, embarrassing, and I'm sure for you as of now, but, yeah, you know, it's great to see also, because, like, you know, throughout the film, like, Buzz was deluded and he thought he was a space ranger. But then, of course, like, when it came to, like, when he learns he's not an actual Buzz Lightyear, just a toy, and he starts to evolve, yeah, definitely up to Toy Story 2 is where he definitely evolves and, like, yeah, and being there for Woody and such, and all the above. Like, yeah, that's great to see. Just like, yeah, I mean, when it came to Toy Story 2, like, another thing was the character development, like, these characters evolving, especially Buzz and so on. You get my point, just like, yeah, excellent. Also, the comment that Doug made about, I never thought of this, and am I able to unsee this? I don't know, just one of those things. You know, usually I'm good at that. I can unsee things, you know, but point being is that, yeah, the comment he made about Al being voiced by good old Wayne Knight, where to him it looks like Jason Alexander. Yeah, I mean, they both have that, like, hairstyle. They're both wearing glasses, but I don't know. Hey, like, you know, it was like, maybe that should be a Halloween costume for Jason Alexander. He should wear that Al get-up, and with those glasses, maybe grow a beard a little, but just... I mean, look, there's been plenty of other people that have almost resembled Al, and I'm sure you've seen those photos on Google. I have. Anyways. Alright, anything else to point out? Nah. I'm just gonna stop right there, because, yeah, I'll have more to say even after I'm done with this video. So, let's get back into it. Time back in. Oh, yeah, we're gonna come up to this.
New arm, but not before saying goodbye to Jesse, who he sees has been through a lot more than he thought.
You see,
Let me guess. Even though you're not moving, you feel like you're alive. Because that's how he sees you.
How did you know that?
Emily was just the same.
So even though it's a little out of nowhere, seeing how it's the only song in the movie that's not a repeat or being heard on a TV, something like that, this musical number is pretty great.
Yes.
When somebody loved me,
heart-wrenching, like, you know, even made Tom Hanks and Tim Allen cry.
A hard time, but this song really does hit in the feels pretty effectively.
Yeah, you've given Randy Newman too much shit, you know, because...
But she began to drift away.
I also appreciate this is a fun, interesting character, even without the trauma. In fact, if you think about it, she has 2 traumatic elements, being abandoned and being claustrophobic.
Yeah.
But while these elements help develop her, they don't define her. I like this as a new character that has a lot of layers when, honestly, they didn't need to. She would be just fine if she was the fun cowgirl with a lot of energy and fun one-liners, but they really give her a lot to work with without feeling forced.
You never forget kids like Emily or Andy, but they forget you.
My only problem, while I love that this movie didn't just repeat what the first movie did, all the sequels repeated what this movie did. Yes, you could argue every movie is about adjusting to change, but in the first film, it's about how it's not as bad as you thought. Something added doesn't always mean something taken away, it just needs to be rediscovered sometimes.
Yep.
This movie introduces the idea that inevitably something has to be taken away and how to deal with that. the opposite end of the issue mentioned in the first one. And it's great.
How long will it last, Woody? Do you really think Andy is going to take you to college?
Good on those complicated
Or on
deals,
his
Doug.
honeymoon? Andy's growing up.
Details.
And there's nothing you can do about it.
But that's what Toy
He's not-
Story
he's
3
not wrong.
and 4 are about. The villains always have the same backstory of not being loved enough. Sometimes they even get the same conclusion.
Yes.
And the main character always has to accept an oncoming, unstoppable change. Now, like I said, I do like 3 and think that's the direction it should have gone and was building up. But this is why 2 is my favorite. Because you legit ask, what would you do in a situation like this? Honestly,
Yep.
many of us are in situations like this at one point or another, where we have to think about the inevitable and how to deal with it. So when Woody says he's staying with the Roundup gang to bring joy to kids forever in a museum, especially with the toys who are interesting and likable, whether you're a kid or an adult watching this, it's hard to argue with it.
You can stay with us and last forever. You'll be adored by children for generations.
I knew where Toy Story 3 was going the minute it started. I legit wasn't sure what direction this was going to take because, one, it's the second film, the franchise isn't established yet, they still could mix things up.
Yeah.
And two, they're dealing with it in such a complex and mature way. Well, for a film where a space toy in a skirt chases a rocket man.
Of
Things
course.
about a rescue team are getting strangers, they follow Al as Buzz escapes and follows them as Zurg escapes and follows Buzz. Missed joke opportunity. There totally should have been a car pile up after he crossed the street.
Eh.
This way. What makes you so sure? I'm Buzz Lightyear. I'm always sure.
It's pretty cool that despite no physical difference, you can always tell which Buzz you're looking at. Not just in creating literal distance between the characters, but just in their movements and actions.
Not to mention that Buzz, diluted Buzz, is very clean.
It's also a nice touch of that
While
video game opening
Andy's
wasn't
Buzz
just
is a bit
an attention
dirty.
getter. It actually
If you've
does
noticed
play a part
that.
in the story, showing how the new Buzz mistakes everyday items as a threat, bringing us more into his world. I mean, you would too if the Super Nintendo had these types of graphics. Christ, was this their swan song?
Watch yourself.
We're here to spring ya, Woody.
They find Woody and try to save him, just as the real Buzz catches up with them.
It's a code 546. You mean it's a yes? And he's a oh yeah, Your Majesty.
Again, how Disney basically sees the franchise. Woody makes the strong argument that he doesn't have long before Andy becomes sick of him. And again, when they repeat something, it furthers the plot. It doesn't feel like a cheap callback.
You're a child's plaything. You are
A toy!
For how much longer? One more rip and Andy's done with me.
Done with me.
That's not true. You're thinking of the next owner. She abandoned you pretty quick. They decide to leave without
Yeah, that's
Woody,
another
and the
story.
song makes him realize he wouldn't give up the important years with Andy for anything.
Some other folks might be a little bit smarter than I am. Bigger
Our taste of
and
Tom
stronger
Hanks singing, which he's not too
Maybe.
keen of
Funny how
sometimes.
even when someone else sings a Newman song, they still kind of have to do an impression of him.
will ever love you
Yeah,
the
but
way
good at
I
it.
do.
Tom was.
It's me and you, boy.
That's Randy. I mean, Tom. Woody.
Come with me.
What?
He offers the Roundup gang to come with him, but it looks like Pete has other plans.
I'll tell you.
The surprised
what's not
villain.
fair. Spending a
Is he gonna make a
lifetime
comment
on
about
a
this?
dime
He has
store
before.
shelf, watching every other toy
Be sold!
I'm sick of being the stink whore of the group.
That silly Buzz Lightweight can't help you. His name is Buzz Lightyear.
Though I wish I thought
Whatever.
of that in the first movie. Al packs them up so our heroes chase them, but Zurg is there to complicate things.
Good old Zurg.
Again, in a lesser movie, this would feel like a time
I can't believe we
waster,
didn't
but
have it in
some
Toy
really
Story
good
4.
writing makes this some of the funniest
About
stuff in
5.
the film.
You killed my father.
I am your father.
This movie is so good, even the fake versions of characters get an arc.
I have a lot of catching up to do with
Yes.
my dad.
Good grow, son.
That's my boy.
Oh,
Go
you're
on,
a
buddy.
great dad. Yippee!
Farewell.
Weirdly believe that mended Pixar relationship more than Brave. Not every bit of nostalgia baiting is a brilliant one, though.
Strangers from the outside.
If the same character goes, oh no, twice with 2 callbacks, you're probably doing too many. Alright, I guess technically they're fine, they don't ruin anything, and they
No.
help the characters out.
Use the wand of power.
They knew they had to put the LGMs in there.
No, those were other toys crossing the street! Airport where we have a pretty
We've
fun
had a
fun
1 or
night.
2
I
YouTube
don't know,
poops
is
doing that
moving
joke.
Luggage at an airport really this exciting?
Different than, like, what was...
Somehow it's even more exciting.
Well, I'm
Stinky
sure as
Pete
though
with a
they...
new
Okay,
Look,
by
Barbie,
that
a
point,
big
they've
ugly
updated that
man
stuff.
doll.
Again, that's presumably how most girls look at men after the Barbie movie. Jessie doesn't get out in time, so Woody goes after her, and one of my favorite movie memories is seeing this in a theater filled with adults unironically cheering when the toy Rocket Man catches the toy cowboy's hat.
What's a cowboy without his hat?
Silly moments like that make movies freaking magical.
Yes! You're not wrong, Doug.
I saved them in time, even if there's a lot of questions from neighbors about their return. Yeah, half of these supernatural shows is just toys. And Andy is happy to have new additions
It's
to
funny.
his collection.
Hey, you fixed Woody!
Yeah, glad I decided not to take him to camp. His whole arm might have come off.
Always something funny about how a brilliant actress like Laurie Metcalf gets a few seconds in each movie as Andy's mom, yet that's apparently still one of her best-known roles. I also
Yeah,
love the
it
clever
is.
way they show Al's reaction to the toys never reaching Japan.
We've got the lowest prices in town. Everything for a buck.
We did 20 takes, and that was the best one.
The old toys are fixed up, the new toys fit in great, maybe even too great for Buzz.
Yeah, his wings opening.
And Woody ponders what the future holds.
You still worry?
It'll be
Why?
fun while it lasts. I'll have old
Oh,
Buzz
come on,
Lightyear
I guess
to
I
keep
should
me
have seen
company
that coming.
for infinity and beyond.
Oh, and it will be.
They're gonna make him do this till he's 90.
And that was Toy Story 2, still my personal favorite for a reason. It's as funny as the first one, just as creative, and throw in some real adult themes and ideas about mortality with the younger audience probably not even picking up that's what they were doing. The fact that they don't just repeat the same thing, but also add fun and interesting new characters is something you didn't really see that much out of sequels back then.
Yeah.
Like, this didn't break the mold. There were good follow-ups and films and everything, but for only the third Pixar movie after one many considered underwhelming, this showed Pixar was a studio that knew how to prove itself. And hopefully still does. Yeah, what does the future hold for this franchise? I don't know. I guess it's possible for number 5 to be good, but like
Yeah,
many, I
it
felt
seems
was
like it has
perfect to stop
potential.
at 3. With
From
cast
what we've
members
seen.
dying off, too many characters to write interesting arcs for, and a market that relies too much on existing IP, the odds do seem against them. But as this movie taught me, I should take whatever's coming with a healthy attitude and good humor. Whether it's another masterpiece, another stinker, or another whatever, it's still good to know we have fantastic sequels like this.
Depends on what
to
you
look
think.
back on. I'm a nostalgia critic. I remember. Hey, next month is March. You know what that means?
I know.
Avengers Month!
What did I say? I knew it.
Not a great plan.
Is that Tony's voice? I think so, yeah.
Oh, you're a great dad. Yippee!
And with that, yeah. Farewell.
I'm still doing cameos for charity, and this year, I'm still gonna keep the charity Solve Emmys.
Oh, just like in the last one. Okay. Alright, so the charity shout-out as always, and that was the Nostalgia Critics review of Toy Story 2. And that was excellent. That was an excellent, well-put review of Toy Story 2. All the positive stuff that he had to say, making good details and the complicated details he talked about. And when talking about, like, say, comparing this with, like, the first one and then the sequels, you know, the whole thing of, like, the situation of what to do and, like, growing up and all that, yeah. Couldn't have said it better than myself, that's for sure. But well said, Doug. Yeah, just everything that Doug has talked about, he did talk about in his review of Toy Story 2, was well executed also, and what was the last 10 minutes of this, and with what else he talked about, yeah, and all the other funniest jokes he did, and of course, like, when talk about, like, say, like, with Zurg and Buzz, I'm your father, and all that, really good too, and I should we have seen something coming like that, like, yeah, with Buzz's wings open, and, like, yeah, inserting a text, I'm hard. Well, I mean, even in the bloopers, like, that was something different, but, oh well, yeah. And by the way, because one thing I pointed out, like, and with the Pizza Plant truck, like, running over those cones, and, like, the funny edit of, you know, those were characters from Small Soldiers, like, yeah, because I said that there have been, like, what, 1 or 2 YouTube poops that have done that joke? You know what I'm talking about, yeah. If you've seen those Toy Story 2 YTPs. Good on you. Anything else to point out? Well, it's interesting that Doug making one more comment he makes, like when he experienced seeing Toy Story 2 in theaters, where his audience, the audience that he was with in the theater, they erupted with applause when Buzz catched Woody's hat. Well, because even then, like Doug pointing out, like those things just making it so magical, and I concur with that. That's a pure fact right there. And you see, because movies like Toy Story 2, the magic it has to offer, the power, the storytelling, all of the above, just extraordinary. Really is, and I'm sure you would think so too, definitely. Yeah, anything else to point out that Doug talked about? I mean, yeah. I mean, also that comment he made about, like, you know, the LGMs being in there, and also the whole thing of him at times, like, saying, like, this film, like, doing a couple of repeats and all that from the first one. Well, not in a bad way, of course, you know? And I think it was well executed with what they did. Pixar knows what they're doing. They knew what they were doing when they did Toy Story 2. So, yeah. And the fact that, I was saying about the LGMs that, yeah, because like I said, they knew they had to put the LGMs in, because, yeah, it was such a big thing to come from the first Toy Story. Everybody loved the aliens. Even like if you've listened to the Toy Story 2 commentary, whether if you've owned it on DVD or Blu-ray, there's a moment when it comes up to, you know, they hijack the pizza plant truck, John turns to Andrew and, because, like, I want to say, yeah, each John and Andrew, well, they've done this. Of course, like, yeah, when it comes to movie press and all that, you know, the producers and directors are going to be there. Well, Andrew, he went to Japan for the publicity tour or something, you know, involving A Bug's Life, and Andrew pointed out that his experience was the alien was everywhere. I guess, like, what, at stores or something? I don't know, but they didn't specifically say in the commentary, but point being is that, pointing out that the little green men were such a big thing in Japan. And, yeah, I mean, Disney being a big thing for those in Japan and such. True, yeah. So, of course, you know, it had to be in the movie. As Andrew said, it has to be in the movie. In Toy Story 2, of course, and rightfully so, they do so. Anything else to point... Oh, okay, yeah, I was also going to point this out, too, because I think by this point I've really got nothing else left to say, you know, because... just overall, this was really good with what he had to say in his review. But I will say one more thing, because with what Doug also said here, like, because the fact that Toy Story 2 was just only Pixar's third film, to think that, you know, in between A Bug's Life, we had the first Toy Story film, then the first sequel. So yeah, that's amazing to think of. Not every day that something like that happens in a movie studio, you know what I'm saying? Like, animation studio, whatever the case. But overall, like, at that time, they had only, after Toy Story 2, that was the only sequel they did, until fast forward up to, say, 11 years after Toy Story 2's release, they would return with another sequel, which of course being Toy Story 3, because after Toy Story 2, the next batch of films that they would do would be nothing but original films. Yeah, from Monsters, Inc. to Up. And after Up, that's when they would go back and, like, they would do another sequel, which being Toy Story 3. I gotta slow down talking. And then they would soon, like, Toy Story 3 would just be the beginning of them starting to do more film sequels, because after that, we got Cars 2, and then just from there on. Yeah, in fact, because throughout most of the 2010s, there was a lot of sequels that Pixar did. Yeah, from Toy Story 3, Cars 2, Monsters University. I mean, kind of, but it's a prequel, but still, you know. Monsters University. Then, after Inside Out and Good Dinosaur, those being originals, then would come Finding Dory, Cars 3, and after Coco, The Incredibles 2, and then Toy Story 4. Then, for just 2 or 3 years, they took a break from sequels because they had done so much by that point, and they, you know, more original films of theirs were coming out, and, you know, they did state, I remember this, and I'm sure you did too, they did state at one point that they they weren't going to stop making sequels. They just were taking a break. I think is also people misunderstood what Pixar was doing. They thought that Pixar was no longer going to do sequels, but no, that wasn't the case. Pete Docter especially confirmed and clarified, I should say, that they were just taking a break for a little while, for just just a few years doing film sequels to their films and all that, and focusing on what other new, fresh projects they had on the table and soon underway. So yeah. And also the fact that Pete Docter has made it very clear, because they love those characters just as much as we do. And, you know, and also it's obvious. As long as a film sequel to anything Pixar's, if the story is worth it, if a good story pops into someone's head and all that, there you go. It's simple as that. And yeah, fast forward a little more, because then Pixar would come back to the realm of, like, doing film sequels with Inside Out 2. And of course, now after that, because, yeah, Toy Story 5 and also Incredibles 3, etc. Yeah. And besides, when it came to Inside Out 2, well, the storyline in Inside Out 2 was worth it. And I have no doubt, of course, and again, from what we had so far seen in the trailers for Toy Story 5, and as of this recording, like, yeah, looking very positive. Now that we had gotten that official trailer, the more we've gotten, it seems as though that, yeah, and even after I reacted to it, people have really started to, most of us, not all of us, have lightened up, and, you know, okay, yeah, this is looking pretty good so far. Yeah, and until we get another trailer and such, but, alright, let's stop there. Yeah, just overall, with what all the Nostalgia Critic has had to say about Toy Story 2 from beginning to end, was well executed. Very positive, all that. Alright, so, what about you guys? What did you think of the Nostalgia Critic video itself? His review of Toy Story 2. Anything you agree and disagree on, but you know what? With what was happening in this review, a lot of positive things, but still, with a few things it wasn't too much, but still, you know, it was all really good, all really well said, in my opinion, and I'm sure you would think so too. And also, yeah, with Toy Story 2 itself, what are your memories of Toy Story 2? The franchise itself, like mainly the first three, and mainly the first two, you know, especially if any of you, like me, being a 2000s baby. Is Toy Story 2 one of your all-time favorite Toy Story films in the Toy Story franchise? Favorite moments to come from that film and everything that Doug pointed out? And did you get some good laughs and chuckles all throughout the Nostalgia Critic's review? I did. You watched and saw my reactions in this. And how do you what are your thoughts still so far on Toy Story 5, and even now that we'd gotten the trailer and all that? And with what Doug had to talk about that. Yeah. If you're looking forward to what's coming up next for what the Nostalgia Critic's going to review, Avengers Month? Yeah, because I stated that I knew about that, thanks to a fellow YouTuber and all that. Just like, yeah, if you saw the first reaction video that came out, yeah, where I talked about it at the end, yeah. But yeah, I look forward to that. But, okay, just to round things off now, again, overall, what do you think of the Nostalgia Critic video itself with what all I've had to say? My reaction to the Nostalgia Critic video itself is, yeah, what did you think of this reaction video? Leave comments and give this reaction video a like, as always. And so, guys, with all that being said, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed my reaction to the Nostalgia Critic's review of Toy Story 2. More reaction videos are coming your way. They're going to be awesome. Keep looking forward, and I will see you guys in the next video / reaction. Take care, and until Avengers Month enters our way next month and all that, you can, of course, expect me to react to those. Yeah. Peace out, and to infinity and beyond.